Hey, I think that's a little.
Let me start this video by saying I don't usually cover pro wrestling on this channel. It's not because I don't find it interesting, actually far from it. I've been a fan of wrestling for years, ever since I was a kid. And the reality is some of these athletes put on performances that are just as grueling and technical as anything that we see in MMA or boxing. But here's the thing. Most wrestling matches aren't real competition. I know. Shocking. But the reality is that they're stories, staged, choreographed, and scripted to entertain. And that's not a knock, and please don't knock me in the comments for the wrestling fans out there. In fact, I think when it's all done well, it's totally brilliant. Wrestlers have a term for this. It's called the work. That's the term for apparently a planned performance where there's a match that everyone knows their role. The audience can potentially be in on it as well. It's kind of a suspension of disbelief. And when the work holds up, that's when we get the drama, the athleticism, the storytelling all wrapped into one high-impact show. But when something breaks the work, when a performer goes off script or starts throwing real punches in a fake fight, that's where things can fall apart fast. And for you guys who saw the thumbnail for this video, don't worry, we're going to get to it here in a second. My point is that the audience doesn't exactly know what's real. The performers sometimes might not quite know either. And most of these events don't have medical staff that's ready to respond if anything goes wrong. There's no ringside physician, there's no concussion protocols, no fail-safes. You see where all this is going. Well, on August 23rd, at a KnokX Pro wrestling event right here in Los Angeles, California, things spiraled out of control. Raja Jackson, who is the 28-year-old son of former UFC champion Quinton Rampage Jackson, stepped into the ring and turned what was supposed to be entertainment into real violent and a really one-sided beatdown.
You!
Now today we're going to break down exactly what went wrong and what this potentially reveals about the dark underbelly of unregulated performance sports and why the fallout from this moment might reshape indie wrestling potentially forever.
Nasty finisher. My last ride.
So, just what the heck happened? Well, I'm sure you guys have seen some of the videos online, and just in broad strokes here, Raja Jackson was apparently set to make a surprise appearance at the event in Los Angeles, and it was supposed to be just like a fun pop for the crowd. But the thing is, there's footage that shows apparently earlier in the night, Syko Stu, who was his scheduled opponent, cracked like a full beer can over Raja's head outside. There's questions whether this was scripted. According to a bunch of reports, Raja didn't know it was coming, and he definitely didn't take it well. And Raja later on during the match stormed into the ring. This was the main event apparently. He launches this brutal sustained assault on Syko Stu, who was apparently unaware that the match had turned real at that point. The video footage shows Raja punching Stu at least 20 times, even after he's obviously unconscious. Now, Syko Stu reportedly suffered multiple facial fractures, lost teeth. He was hospitalized in critical condition. And just a little bit about him that I've been able to find just reading about him online. Apparently, Stu was a military veteran who suffered with PTSD, which is not super uncommon with our veterans out there, and it's a huge issue. And reportedly, he sort of used wrestling as a kind of therapy. His brother, in some reports online that I've seen, confirmed that he eventually did regain consciousness, but he required extensive surgery and may have lasting damage. And it's a really unfortunate story here. Now, there's been a bunch of fallout from this. In the aftermath, KnokX Pro, the wrestling promotion that organized the event, they have issued a statement condemning Raja's actions and calling the attack egregious, unprecedented. But there's a lot of critics out there who are saying, hey, listen, this wasn't just on Raja. This was a setup gone horribly wrong. And the only reason this didn't end worse was that another wrestler, Douglas, the Epic Malo, jumped into the ring mid-assault and physically pulled Raja off of Syko Stu. And Malo's apparently been quoted as saying that he thinks that Jackson would have unalived Syko Stu if he hadn't have pulled him off. He didn't fight back when he pulled him off. He just sort of held him off until other people could help. Now, in the days following the attack, KnokX Pro has quietly apparently scrubbed all references to the WWE on their site. Apparently their affiliation with WWE's NIL program appears to have been completely severed. And why? Well, the bottom line here is that this wasn't just a rogue act. This was a structural failure. Raja Jackson was reportedly given the green light to quote-unquote get even in the ring. But he has no proper training. There was no communication, apparently. There was no medical oversight, which is why I'm making this video, to focus on that aspect of this disaster. This was not sanctioned combat. There wasn't any of the usual guardrails and safeguards that you would expect. No physical exams, no medical clearance, no ringside doctor, and therefore no one in charge stopped the match once it turned violent. Now, Rampage Jackson has released a public apology for his son's actions. He didn't try to excuse it. He said that Raja had been recovering from a concussion and should have never stepped in the ring. By the way, another huge red flag there. In combat sports, we deal with concussions all the time. And you guys should check out our Ringside Medicine series if you want to see how I personally deal with these issues as a ringside physician. And for someone to have a known concussion, that's at least 30 days out of competition. And here you have someone who's back apparently in the ring within just a couple of weeks. Completely ridiculous. Now, here's a part I think no one else is really talking about. At least not that I've seen. This wasn't just a performer losing control. I think it's a case study in what happens when fantasy entertainment has no guardrails. Okay? Wrestling might be choreographed, but that doesn't make it safe by default. The moment safety protocols vanish, the moment communication breaks down, you get real injuries, you get real trauma, and possibly even real criminal charges in this case. I think everyone sort of agrees that Raja Jackson crossed the line here, but he didn't do it alone. Everyone who stood by while he entered that ring without clearance, without training, without supervision, helped to push him over the edge. Now, this wasn't a work. It was a warning.
Enjoying the video? Yeah, I know. Me too. But listen, really quick. More than 90% of you guys watching this right now aren't even subscribed. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. It takes a whole team and a lot of work to put these videos together. Believe me, my cameraman right behind you, he's sweating bullets right now filming this. I don't ask for a lot in return, but what I'd love is for you to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. Doing that is a signal to YouTube that you want to see more of this content. It helps me, it helps our team. It's a small ask on your part, but it's huge for us. All right, let's get back into it.
Now, if you care about ringside safety, share this video. I'm sure you've seen all sorts of other content about what happened, and I just want to add my voice as a physician to focus on some of these, I think, really, really serious medical safeguard issues. If any of you've ever been in that gray zone between play and danger, go ahead and drop your story in the comments below. And if you made it this far, then definitely subscribe for more real talk on combat sports and beyond. As always, guys, stay dynamic. Peace.